like dominoes. Jupiter the booty, can you twerk some? Jupiter the booty, can you twerk some? Shorty got that hair like Rapunzel. Make a nigga fall in love like dominoes. Jupiter the booty, can you twerk some? Jupiter the booty, can you twerk some? Goddamn, shorty so fine. Like a treadmill, she be running through my mind. On that booty, she got a nigga geeking. Having fantasies of me and her, cause that bass squeaking. Shorty got that hair like Rapunzel. Make a nigga fall in love like dominoes. Jupiter the booty, can you twerk some? Jupiter the booty, can you twerk some? Shorty got that hair like Rapunzel. Make a nigga fall in love like dominoes. Jupiter the booty, can you twerk some? Hey, Jupiter the booty, can you twerk some? Shorty got that booty. Shorty got that hair like Rapunzel. Make a nigga fall in love like dominoes. Jupiter the booty, can you twerk some? Jupiter the booty, can you twerk some? Shorty got that hair like Rapunzel. Make a nigga fall in love like dominoes. Jupiter the booty, can you twerk some? Jupiter the booty, can you twerk some? Goddamn, shorty so fine. Like a treadmill, she be running through my mind. On that booty, she got a nigga geeking. Having fantasies of me and her, cause that bass squeaking. Shorty got that hair like Rapunzel. Make a nigga fall in love like dominoes. Jupiter the booty, can you twerk some? Jupiter the booty, can you twerk some? Shorty got that hair like Rapunzel. Make a nigga fall in love like dominoes. Jupiter the booty, can you twerk some? Hey, Jupiter the booty, can you twerk some?
Peace to the tribe, peace to the collective, man. Shout out to Jupiter Booty. Can you twerk something? Peace to the tribe, peace to the collective, man. I got some good news for y'all. For those who do not know how to figure out what sign the full moon is taking place in, I have a web application that you could just simply put in your rising sign, whether tropical, sidereal. My rising sign would be in sidereal Virgo. Pick this full moon for August. And it is happening in my 5th house or my 4th house, because if we go to tropical and we do Libra, it's happening in my 5th house. But then no, sidereal Virgo, my bad. It's in my 5th house. So it's in my 5th house or my 4th house. And the way that I would check is by doing a transit chart, which astroseek.com, go to the sidereal transit chart section, put in my birthday, put in the date of the full moon, calculate transits, voila. And then we looking for the outer circle and looking for the moon. And you will see on my chart, it is happening on the cusp of my 4th and 5th house. This is the first thing that I want to utilize. And the calculator is located in the description, free of charge. And you can look up any moon date for the rest of 2025. I will be updating said calculator with little knickknacks, paddywhacks, possibly even giving a few dogs some bones. You feel me? But let's talk about this full moon. But before you get into the full moon, figure out what house is happening in your chart. So you could do it the old-fashioned way, like I just showed you, or you can look in the description to this video, look for Full Moon House Finder 2025. Put in what system you want to use, your rising sign, put in this August full moon, and then it'll just show up for you. It's going to let you know the Nakshatra. It's going to let you know the Nakshatra meaning, which is listening, milestones, fame, little knick-knack paddywhacks, the numerology of the date, power, finances, results, so forth and so on. Beta But once again, this is just for people who don't. Hood, I don't know what I be looking at when you be showing me those astrology charts. Hood, I don't know what I just don't know. It just look like lines and symbols to me. If you that type of person, don't worry. And my thing is, I'm just trying to get so nasty with this that I just want to come up with use cases for the technology. So, in reference to this video, really quick, came up with something. But as I grow, as I develop, I want to do the same thing with the tribe, with the collective. So, with all of that being said, secondly, or mainly, we have a full moon article which came out 2 weeks ago. Make sure y'all read that. Link is in the description, right? Some interesting things, man, that it had me to like really be in a real reflective state. And like I said a couple of weeks ago, it's like I don't know. I know exactly. I can't say I don't know. I know what has been happening. It's because like I've set my life up. Like if y'all don't know, shit, I'm the hood mystic. I didn't just like create this YouTube channel yesterday. I've been doing what I've been doing for a very long time. Okay. And so I've set my world up to be very spiritual, very whimsical, very free. And because of that, um, it works out when you work it. But whether you work in it and it not work out, it's not like right or wrong. It is what it is. And so it's like I don't think I'm special when it's like, damn, this shit is like real. This shit is hard. This shit is difficult. I hope, and all of these particular thoughts you have when things ain't going your way. But then at the same time, I still have a lot to be grateful for. I still am in a good place, in a good position. It's just that basically I'm not understanding the spiritual component of the situation, and the spiritual component to the situation is by far the most important part to the situation. So that brings us into this full moon in Sidereal Capricorn in the Shravana Nakshatra, particularly ruled by Vishnu. And so, like, that was more or less the energy, right? Vishnu and Krishna. So, a lot of times people will be like, Krishna, 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 right? And that's cool. But Krishna is considered an avatar or a manifestation or a descent from Vishnu, the preserver deity. And to me, it was seeming to be an energy that was like, that I've never really kind of dealt with, if I'm gonna be honest, or never really examined or observed. Like Krishna, very popular. Vishnu, I'm not really hip to his game. And so when I'm understanding Hindu, I'm also understanding voodoo simultaneously because I feel that these systems are more syncretized and are only separate by the particular region for which this truth manifests as. So, with that being said, it's like the power of the spirit, it must be observed. And what you want, what you desire, no matter how much you prepare, no matter how much I meditate and do offerings, and I know I'm good, but I want things to be better, right? And when you a spiritual person, you have to, like Ice Cube say, check yourself before you wreck yourself. So, with that being said, let's get into this particular full moon article. And there was like synchronicities with this particular, I guess, astrological report. You know, I'm just studying this stuff, you know what I'm saying, and picking up certain correspondences and reporting those correspondences based upon what resonates with me because the information is boundless. So you gotta, just move in the ways that feel like or smell like truth, right? Because if I get on here and say that I know, that's my ego talking, you know. Um, I will only have faith in the traditions and the awareness of the cosmology and also the misunderstandings of the Eastern put down of the game through the Western materialist filter. So this week I got a video talking about consumerism and slavery, right? Because that's really what it is. And it's interesting when you like really save and you're not like you're practical with your money and then something happened like you lose your job. But you got money saved and you might not even be spending money like that. And you got money saved, but you just don't got a job. So you have to figure out like a find a job or something, find another source of income. But two, this feels weird to not be on the grind, on the hustle. And leave it up to me. I'm a hustle regardless, you know what I'm saying? So as I started this conversation off with, spirituality is going to sit you down. It has to, because what else is the solution? We're going to make that money and we're going to buy stuff and we're going to, keep paying the rent, keep paying the car note, and not do the things we're really supposed to do, whatever that looks like for you. That is why this full moon, if you're in this particular realm of thinking, because you could either be in the realm of thinking where you got it going on, money is cash falling down out the sky, you traveling, you got a beautiful lady on the side of your arm, everything happening the way you want it to happen, and you don't have to listen. You don't have to be sat down because maybe you already did sit down, right? But for those of us who are getting to it, you know, man, I remember it's this young lady, and I remember a few years ago, and it's not like it's just crazy how time and emotions will fuck you up. You know what I mean? Like time and emotions and food and dick, you know what I'm saying, will have you out here looking crazy. But not too long ago, you was on a whole nother level in stratosphere, but the emotions of being disconnected and going with the herd mentality, just going along to get along, family events. It's the summertime. And I noticed, like, when I used to live in Boston around my family, because that's where my family's from, We was doing something every weekend. The grill was being lit up every weekend, so I'm eating horrible all the time. Now, shit, I of course you can go to the goddamn cookout with your little Tupperware bowl of goddamn okra, but 10 times out of 10, you go in there and you just gonna eat what's on the damn grill. Shravana is about listening. Listening is not only the act of hearing, but also the discipline of absorbing what is heard before acting. Action is based upon the principle of two and two and four. Two, because it's duality. Four, because that's the number of building. When you build with a block. A block has four sides. Okay, put a four in the chat if that makes sense. Put a two and a two in the chat if that makes sense. Because the power of action in reference to who you are spiritually is the concoction that we're looking to formulate in this great potion of life. See, from my observation, when it comes down to the things that we need to do, we're going to miss one key component in this particular reservoir of large bodies of possibilities. Because whatever it is, to implement it into real life, you're going to have to act it out. Okay? So, in this particular paradigm, we have the Sabian symbol, which is 22. Now, when you look at a full moon, that's two celestial objects opposing one another. So, that is duality. In order to unify a dualistic principle, one has to utilize the modality of action. One has to always act. So when you enter into a spiritual ambiance, there's going to be a 95 percentile of personalities that are trying to do this shit without action. But that 5% that act within the spiritual grouping, they make thousands, if not millions of dollars. Thousands, if not millions of dollars, because we're dealing with Capricorn. So this is real life. This is the final frontier of earth signs. The final frontier of earth signs is Capricorn, but Capricorn is spiritualized matter, such as granite, limestone, things of that nature, things that create a wormhole effect. Highly charged materials. So, at one level, there is just, you know, nature. Nature to the city girl. She's a city girl. I want you, we got to visualize this for it to make a lot of sense to us, for us to truly understand the power of Capricorn and thus the understanding of this full moon from a spiritual sidereal perspective. So the city girl and the city boy is Saturday night. It's right. We present in the midst of the illusion right now in this particular hour. It's 10 o'clock Eastern time, Saturday night, and people is getting geared up to go out and have a good time. And it's Capricorn, ruled by Saturn, and it's Saturday. But then when you look at the tarot card of Capricorn and Saturn, the card is called what? The devil. Why is it called the devil? Because the average person, it could be your damn grandma. Your grandma feel like Saturday night is her motherfucking time to shine. And it is literally the Sabbath in reference to Saturn. So one could be observant of celestial occurrences and correlate the seven classical planets to seven states of consciousness and embody each and every state of consciousness in a daily state of awareness, self knowledge. Or you could go and follow the crowd and the herd. You don't want it. It could never be an intuitive idea to go out on a Saturday night, because the very nature of it being an intuitive idea, they're saying you going to a club and ain't nobody there. It's just you and a DJ, you in the middle of the dance floor spinning around. Like, I knew my intuition was on point this evening. That's not real. What is real is that the nighttime, the nightlife is a herd mentality. And I'm not saying it's right or wrong. It's a part of life. I've done it. And I'm not saying it's nights that I had that I'm not trying to cash in or trade in for nothing. I get it, but I'm not going out tonight. Not saying I won't go out another night. What I'm specifically saying is the propensity to utilize Saturdays for enjoyment is counterintuitive to nature. So, back to that intuition of enjoyment in reference to nature. When you're able to go out into nature and immerse yourself out in nature and stretch and be and exist in nature, the city girl and the city boy is like, that's incomparable. I can't compare this to that. But the adept, the spiritualist, values nature more than a club. But when your consciousness is low, you can't even fathom what I just said. When your consciousness is low, a peaceful day in nature, laying out, not making no plans, not feeling like you need to put on no makeup, feeling like you just exist in your skin. Even deeper, you ethereal, you exist outside of your body at times because you're so relaxed and in tune with the environment for which you are placed in. You didn't even ask to come here. So I don't remember asking to come here. If you remember asking to come here, so fucking be it. All right. I personally didn't ask to be here, come here, or do none of this shit. I just so happened to be here. Therefore, part of this actual journey is to recondition and relearn. Now, this is a hard part for most people. That's why this card is so ubiquitous within our particular culture and understandings, because people are going to work. So, once again, we're talking about Capricorn. Now, another thing about Capricorn, Capricorn rules the 10th house. In astrology, the 10th house of the natal chart is ruled by the zodiac Capricorn and the planet Saturn. Okay? So, once again, the 10th house is associated with career and public image and social standing. But what else is synonymous with all of this stuff? Capricorn and the devil tarot card. So a lot of times people then think that the devil is associated with some form of evil, when actually it is a possession. Okay, let's just lay this shit out. When you come to a person, you never meet a person, you don't know this person, they be like, well, what do you do? Not what is your passions, what is your dreams, what make you happy, what keeps you up at night. What do you do? What is your job? What is your career? It's a large percentage of women who won't even date you if you don't have a job. But you can't say the same thing about a man, because a man will date your ass in the back of an alley. Yeah, I met this cold girl in the back of the alley, G. She amazing. So Capricorn and the devil, you have to begin to parse this out, because once again, I'm gonna always say this. So what are you saying, Hood? You want me to quit my job? Absolutely not. That's not the purpose of saying that the career is connected to the devil. You should already be thinking about how you gonna make it outside of that bullshit ass job in the first place. You don't need me to tell you that, because you could motherfucking have a bad day, your mama piss you off, the world is on your back, and they say, you know what? It don't look like you a good fit here. Them people can piss test you in the morning. One's in the chat. Good, it's Sunday. I don't even work on Sunday. Exactly. And you want to say, like, I'm not telling you to quit your job. Once again, we as uh, melanated aboriginal inhabitants of a Mexum need to understand that our job is our spiritual development. So, once again, one has to begin to look at nature as a spiritual component and begin to see it all as a spiritual extension of your capability of connecting to yourself. Because the reason that the devil runs the world is because you are not connected to the God within. And that concept is not something that people really want to scream and shout about, right? You don't want to have an emotional experience in reference to the God living within you. So you're sitting at home on a Saturday night and you're sad. Why? Because you don't have a girlfriend, because you don't have money, because you had traveling around the world, because you're not doing what you want to do, or your boyfriend left you, or whatever the case may be. But whatever situation you're going through right now, if you're listening to this means you're alive. One, and two, God lives within you. So, with that being a truth, that should elicit an emotional experience that radiates through all situations up and down. Because God is greater than your ups and downs. Because throughout your ups and downs, God is always there because you're always alive. So, one, Capricorn, for most people, because they don't have God within themselves, is a endless grind. Niggas is working till they die. And I'm 40 years old. That means that I have aunts and uncles that I've seen work until they last dying day. They worked until they died. It never panned out. It never worked out. It never came out right on the other side. They grinded and they worked and they had money and they made everybody else around them happy and they stressed themselves out and they exited out the body. So we can continue that train of thought, or we can begin to understand the esoterics of the actual cosmology and then connect it to a specific state of mind, which is related to Saturn or Sabbath. And it is ironic that today is Saturday and the full moon is in Capricorn. But they always say God don't make mistakes. Okay? Now, the stream of consciousness, the basis of the stream of consciousness is that when spirituality tells you to shut it down, your ego don't want you to shut it down. So therefore, you are in a state of discontentment at the soul level because you don't understand. And this is why people say people are evil, right? So something happens and you gotta do something about it. And certain thoughts start to creep into your mind. And now you in a situation where it ain't never going to get better. You ain't never going to make it out. So you just got to act. You got to lash out. Well, that is the devil. But the devil can only thrive in a person that is not seeking solutions from within. And your ability to seek solutions is always in the problem. It's always in the problem. When you start to recognize the problem, you start to fixate and focus on the solution, then that is a problem solving apparatus that's already existing within your paradigm. But when we deal with Capricorn outside of our emotions, we are what is called survival mode. And survival mode for a lot of people is, you know, we get into another concept within the tarot, right? You have Saturn, you have Chronos, and you have death. In ancient mythology, Saturn is often associated with the Greek god Chronos and is linked to time and death. The myth of Chronos devouring his children is often interpreted as an allegory for time consuming all things, including life itself. So, this full moon is about pausing, whether you want to or not. Okay? Pausing. Now, once again, if you already have paused and you already have gotten this message, it's for those of us when you was pausing and you was doing the right thing and you seen us crashing out and we had to reckon this shit. What Saturn, the law of karma, cause and effect, to which we exist within the effects of our own personal causes. What is the supreme cause that we should tap into and tune into? The cause of connecting to your soul in the midst of your worry, in the midst of your fear, in the midst of your anxiety, in the midst of your psychosis, in the midst of you blaming your man, in the midst of you blaming your mama, in the midst of you blaming everybody around you, connecting to the God within. And the modality to do that is to pause, to stop. Because what? Life, thoughts, moments, emotions, feelings, thoughts, playback, memories, kids yelling, everything is happening in your mind, and you trying to grasp some shit and you can't because you haven't paused. You have to stop, you have to pause to begin to listen to your higher self. And what a full moon is a gateway. So the action to activate said gateway is to pause and to listen, not to me, of course. Listen to your higher self in your soul, which communicates through a high pitch frequency that you can even begin to imagine, to which it is like you meeting God halfway. When you just sit and listen to this noise or silence or frequency tone, that is considered the meditation. That is considered the channel. And how you live your life, the ways for which your life is built before you. Because one of the things, this is some high level hoity toity knowledge, right? Sound and um, matter. this is some shit, right? This is some Capricornian earth sign shit. Sound and matter are fundamentally linked. Sound is, in essence, a mechanical wave that requires a medium, matter, to travel. This medium, which can be solid, liquid, or gas, allows the sound wave's energy to propagate through particle to particle interactions. Without matter, sound cannot exist. Okay? That's some hoity toity shit for you, right? So the lunar cycle, the kind of way that I imagined it was like you gotta be soft. And I know niggas like, oh, I ain't soft, G. Nigga, I ain't soft. I ain't about to be soft out here in these streets. But when have you ever known anything hard to be malleable or flexible or changeable? Especially if you don't like the results. When you don't like the results, the solution always calls for some level of change. But if you hard or closed minded or stuck in your ways, you will continue to create the problems for which you hate that you're having. So thus the full moon is allowing us to change, but it might call us to be soft, right? So I have this full moon house finder. Link is in the description. And for some reason, right, we just gonna say sidereal. My rising sign is either Libra or Virgo. Just depends on the right day, right? That's just whatever. So it if this full moon is in my fourth house, it's dealing with home, roots, family, domestic matters culminate, reorganize the base, restore emotional safety. How the fuck I'm gonna do that by being hard? Can y'all give me some solutions on that? I think it literally requires me to be a little bit softer when it comes to my kids and my family and those around me, and figuring out ways to navigate the shit that I'm going through, not by being hard and difficult, by being soft and changeable and looking at different ways to handle shit. I ain't about to just be handling shit the wrong way. If I know it's wrong, I gotta change. And changing is hard for a nigga like me. But if I am going to put it in my mind to change, it does make sense to be a little bit softer now, a little bit softer now, a little bit softer now, a little bit louder now. So, moving forward, really quick, let's bring up the chart. So, it starts over there. So, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7, 8, 9, 10. 22, that's where the moon stops. 22 degrees Capricorn. The sun, quite naturally, because it is in opposition, is in 22 degrees Cancer. Now, for those of y'all who went to public school, even we know that 2 plus 2 equals 5. Ain't that right, public school people? Psych, no. 2 plus 2 equals 4. So the deacon of the sun, the deacon of the moon, is ruled by the Four of Disc in Capricorn, respectively, and the Four of Cups in Cancer, respectively. So the Four of Cups represents luxury, and the Four of Earth or Pentacles or Disc represents power. Now, once again, we're dealing with alchemy. So the alchemy of this situation is Capricorn and Cancer. Capricorn, as we stated previously, could be connected to Saturn, which is known colloquially as a father, and Cancer, known colloquially as a mother. Now, when a mother and a father come together and create a child, they do so through the modality of sexual relations. Well, that within itself is a luxury. And I know you're like, Kyrie, what are you talking about? How is that a luxury? Well, when you look up the etymology of luxury, it is exemplified in this full moon. But some people might think luxury is a bunch of cars. But in the ancient, esoteric, cosmological sense of the word luxury, is sexual intercourse that is exemplified through Capricorn and Cancer, or father and mother, that are brought together by a particular action of the sun being in the mother and the moon being in the father. And this dualistic opposition creates the action, right? Opposites attract. It forces you to want to know what that other side is like. And if you ever experience uh ex- where two people are allowed to explore and find themselves through one another, and through this process you create life. Now a lot of people want to walk around with a fucking labubu and talk about, yeah, I'm manifesting or some shit like that, or I'm living in luxury because I got a fucking vehicle that loses value the moment I drive it off the lot. I'm driving and living in luxury. They got us going in the head, because when you talk about sexual intercourse and how it's supposed to play out as a modality of luxury and power, power. So the four of this, the name of that card is power. What is power? Power is the ability to act. Now let's look at, before we get deeper into power, let's look at the numerology of 22. Basic stuff. We don't gotta rack our brains about nothing. We could go to world numerology and it will say that 22 is a master builder, and this is potentially the most successful of all numbers in numerology. And then we're going back to power, right? And this is the ability to act. And what I'm doing is I'm connecting a dot, because I've been in this spiritual life for so long that you could just tell me, oh, 22, I'll start imagining it's about to work out before I do any work, before I do any action. And as I've grown in my spirituality, I don't even want to feel like nothing until I want to know who's willing to put in the work, who's willing to act, right? It is the most powerful of all numbers and is often called the master builder. So, once again, why am I even bringing this to the attention? Is because I be having to connect dots, right? I can't just say shit that I feel and shit that I think about. So let me get. So the sun is at 22 degrees Cancer. The moon is at 22 degrees Capricorn, if you can see that. So, in reference to the 22, We just want to deal with the facts of the numerology being placed before us, and we're just looking at, okay, 2 and 2 is 4. It's actually in the third decan of each sign, and the third decan is ruled by a 4. So once again, y'all can look at synchronicity and be like, "Ah, it's just a synchronicity." This is how spirit speaks to you sometimes through repeating numbers and shit that makes sense, and for which you will look at the symbol. Okay, 2 and 2, 2 and 2 makes 4. That's good. But in order to be a master builder, you must act, right? You must be willing to do some shit, right? So the 22 has many inspirational insights of the 11, combined with practicality and the methodical nature of the 4, making it unlimited yet disciplined. It sees the archetype and brings it down to earth in a material form. It has big ideas, expansive plans, idealism, leadership, and self confidence. If not practical, 22s waste their potential. So once again, I don't never want to say that all of this shit is going to just come by the fact of you existing. Because there's certain levels to that I give honor to and respect to, like the mystery of just being alive. But when you start implementing certain concepts such as luxury and power, now we're entering into the realms of action. And in order to understand power, what you got to understand weakness. You don't gain power from power, you gain strength from weakness. So, once again, the basis of this particular conversation, when you are having down points, when you are having down points, when shit is not going your way, can you have a particular mythology or a principle that keeps you regular and normal? Or are you living for something that you're just waiting for, that you're not willing to put the work in to actually have? So this is a part of growth and maturity. Capricorn is the 10th house. So by the 10th house, if you're not mature, you're not even going to be able to even, it's not even going to make sense to you. If you have an emotional outburst, if you crying, trying to get your way, you trying to manipulate people, you trying to hurt people, at this point, you got to begin to understand that spirituality is real. And the things that's going to play out for you is going to be based on the shit that you actually do. Meaning that, because I know you and I think you're a great person, because all you showed me was a great person, but you know that you ain't on shit and you know that you need to get better, then there are things that's going to happen that put you in a position to do better. And at that point, you gonna have to figure it out. Or you can keep, it's a lot of people that play the game. And people play the game and they get took off the work earth instantly. In 2020, I seen a lot of people transition out the earth that I knew in my family. But it wasn't people that I felt like, damn, they be really valuing life. Right? They really take care of their body and their vessel. It was people that was doing dirtball bad for years, and then when 2020 hit, they just got, they just, it was like, it was literally like one of them like things in the Bible where people just ascend up to God in one day. I ain't never seen no shit like that where like five of my family members transcended out the body within a matter of a year. Crazy. Like a bunch of my family, like more than ever. And people will call it a pandemic, but I would just have to be like, damn, you know, like I ain't see people with good health just getting took up by it, you know. Like I ain't see a lot of kids be taken out the game. Maybe they were sick, you know what I'm saying, but they wasn't exiting out the body. You know what I mean? So it's like now that's just an example. I could go. I basically see it every day, right? I see it every day, and the type of person that I am is not there to say that I'm perfect, but I try to imagine. It's like that meme where the dude is like jacking off and his ancestors are surrounding and watching him jacking off. Like I gotta think about that. You feel me? I can't, grandma right there looking at me, you know what I'm saying? I can't even do it. You know what I'm saying? So it's like this is the type of stuff that this full moon is like really bringing out the reality of spirit, the reality of spirituality in my life personally. And I would say to those who are struggling, trying to, sort it out, stop acting like this stuff is not real. Stop acting like you can exist in a world of materialism and when you get to the bare bones of it, it's certain families and certain societies that don't even exist through the paradigm or through the modality of money because money isn't real. Money is for a certain class of individuals to which they can actually utilize labor for money, right? Because you got to work and then they'll give you some money. It ain't the other way around. Like we'll give you some money and then you'll come and work, depending on if you feel like it or not, because you might want to go out to the river and just, sit back and enjoy your days of living on earth. Now think about this. You've given a finite amount of days on this earth to enjoy. It's nothing within the mythos of life. It's nothing that God is going to tell you to say that you need to be a slave or you need to put yourself through um, crazy ass conditions just so you can, you know, exist on here. Now, do you have to work? Maybe. And that could be relative to how much you believe in yourself. So when we looking at this particular nakshatra, the nakshatra of Shravana, it is an ear, meaning you having an innate ability to listen. But now, in this day and age, in real life, it's real live music out here. And the type of music that people just generally listen to. You ever just be just driving in the car, your windows down, but you don't got no music on for whatever reason. And then, people just driving by, you just, you listening to what people is listening to. It's some crazy shit people is listening to. The modality to listen to hardcore hip hop about murdering somebody, regardless of the beat, right, is the truth and bare representation of not listening to the perfection of silence, which is the tone and frequency of your inner God. Because for millions, if not billions of years, it's not to say that we didn't exist with music and sounds. Of course we did, but it was not pervasive. And when it was introduced, it was for ritualistic purposes almost exclusively. Now, fast forward into this day and age, what is said ritual in reference to the music that you listen to? If there ain't no specific ritual, then let's just act like the ritual is taking place in your life already through the modes of anxiety. Um, you're not living to your full potential, blah, 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 XYZ, right? Any type of thing that you think about, they had songs Logic had that 1-800 song. Lucid Dreams by Juice World. All the gangster rap, all of the stuff that's played on the radio, that is our innate ability to listen, but not to listen to something that is perfect. So any form of sound is a perversion of the true sound, which is silence, which is going to be an aspect of Vishnu. So Vishnu represents perfection, but actual personified knowledge. So at one level, we imagine that Vishnu is going to be talking to us direct. But at the same level, Vishnu has countless avatars. Thus, you don't know who Vishnu is in your life. It could be your wife, it could be your husband, could be an avatar of Vishnu, an avatar of Lakshmi, an avatar of Ganesha. And what they represent is the qualities that these people present to which they are talking to you. But since you don't understand the actual game of life, right? The actual game of life is to understand who you are. And then, right, everybody is going to be non playable characters. Because when you wake up in the morning, you're going to wake up as you. So whatever you feel that you need from somebody, that you need to, you whatever feelings that you have towards somebody, negative particularly, is more in the fact that you do not have a relationship through actual personified knowledge. So then moving this into the 10th house and moving this to Capricorn, your career should be something in reference to actual personified knowledge. Now, in reference to today, the world is changing at such a fast rate. The shit that you thought you was going to be in 1990 fucking 4, you're going to have to cancel that shit. The things that you thought you was going to be in 2015, you're going to have to cancel this shit. Because in 2025, going into 2026, you need to be as present as you ever have been. Because the thing is changing. The old world is coming into the new world, and we are on the cusp of it. Thus, it is very important that you get in tune with source first and foremost, because the pressure that you feeling is from the old world pressure. But the old world don't exist. And since you are in the headspace, the anxiety, the brain rot from scrolling endlessly, the Instagram, all this shit, and just pressure of paying the bills, all of this stuff, old world knowledge. They done fucked up this shit so bad that now the corporations gotta come in and make this shit right. So it's things now where if you don't got um look at this shit. You ain't never heard of no shit like this in your life. Corporations paying your security deposit for a house. I'll just show y'all the video because I got the video. Because I seen it, I retweeted it like, man, this seemed interesting. Let me look up this a little later.
Place to stay and you don't have a deposit. If you are about to be evicted, you need to listen to this video. If you're looking for a place to stay and you don't have a deposit, you don't have a cosigner, you have bad credit, you need to listen to this video. I'm about to change your life. All I'm asking is that you like and share this video so that it can help others. If you have bad credit and you need a cosigner, these companies are going to cosign for you, okay? So you don't have to ask your mom, you don't have to ask your dad, your baby mama, your brother. You don't have to ask anybody else, okay? These companies are going to cosign for you for a fee. These companies are guarantors, One App Guarantee, and Liberty Rent, okay? They do charge a fee, but they will co-sign for you to get in a place, okay? Next, we have security deposits. Now, if you're moving into a place and you need a co-signer and you need someone to help you with your security deposit, I recommend Leap Easy. Leap Easy is available in over 40 something states. So you guys have to Google it and make sure it's available in your state. Okay. But if you need help with security deposits, you can use Rhino. You can use Flex. So Rhino, Flex, Leap Easy are for security deposits. Even if you are backed up on your current rent, those companies will also help you. Now, if you need a co-signer to get into a place, once again, guarantors, one app guarantee, and Liberty Rent. Hope this helps. Don't forget to like and share this video so that you can help somebody else.
So yeah, man. Like, I mean, I ain't never heard of no shit like that, and you don't know what people be going through on a day to day. You know what I'm saying? So, like I said, I put the link of the video. If y'all wanted to get the link, it's on my Twitter. It's like my Twitter profile at the Hood Mystic. So I just be retweeting a whole bunch of different shit. So I could come back and look to it. Cause I might look on Twitter for a little bit and just retweet the things that I might want to look at. Cause I don't never be in the mode to just be looking at some shit. But then when I'm like, all right, I want to look at some shit, then I have a whole selection of videos that I know I wanted to look at. So that's just, I mean, but anybody can look on my Twitter though. It's at Hood Mystic on Twitter. But yeah, and so this just got me into just Capricorn and Vishnu, and I thought it was ironic in Bhagavad Gita, uh, chapter 10, verse 21. It says that I am Vishnu amongst the luminous objects. I am the sun and the moon, right? And it's a full moon in reference to Vishnu in the Shravana Nakshatra in reference to perfection. So it's like, I know you might be going through something, right? And I know it might feel a certain type of way, and you could go into two different ways. Like you could look at a situation and be like, it's dark, so it's going to get darker. Or you could have faith in something that is what you need to have faith in, right? Because it's not like it's not about money and success more than it is about connecting to your soul. And once again, it like I'll bring up following the houses in reference to the full moon because it might be an area in your life where you experience in darkness. It might not be finances. It might not be money. Okay. It might not be love. It might not be relationships, but it might be something, right? So you want to figure out what house is in and create a softness and a change to like really change some things in your life, right? So the principle and metaphysical truth at here is that the current feelings you hold can be shifted through aligned action, and that action will only emerge after your mind has permitted it. So, with that being said, um, in other words, the light of understanding must reach your mind first. So that is the pause. That is the reflection point, regardless of where you at, where you going, whatever, to stop, give honor, give thanks. Um, People can do their rituals or do their mantras, listen to some Vishnu um, music, whatever rocks your boat, or listen to some Michael Jackson or Prince or some Tupac. I don't know, whatever you into, but the idea is to just get into a meditative mode of just receiving and listening and just giving thanks and not getting into this space where you're just like caught up in the problem or the perceived problem, right? You just have to like trust, and things will open up for you. Like, it's not about where you're at or where you're going. It's really about how much you're going to connect to self moving forward. Because it's a lot of people that's like doing this right now. They stunting, they making a lot of money, they they got the material game on lock. And that's good for them, right? And there's nothing wrong with having a bunch of material things. The problem is if you don't got it and now you creating a problem, or whatever area you seeing somebody have something. The ladies looking at the girls having their husbands and stuff like that, and you like, damn, I want a husband, and then your ass get a husband and he ain't shit for real. Imagine you want a nigga so bad and the nigga just not even shit. You thinking like, damn, what did I want for what was this thing that I wanted so bad, because it be like that sometimes. So all of this to say, be grateful for where you're at and acknowledge your ability to, or how it plays out, and how much you can listen. So I got a few different resources to help you kind of navigate this particular energy. I have downloadable worksheet called Chart Your Houses, where you just simply look up your chart. So your first house, what sign it is, what house meaning it's in. And then you can write down your own understanding if you want to. You don't have to. And from there, you could also, if you don't want to do that worksheet, you can pull up the transit worksheet, go to edit birth data, put in your birth date, boom, 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 and then it'll come up with this transit worksheet. You're going to want to look for the moon in the outer circle, which is going to be in Capricorn. As you can see, it's on the cusp of my fourth and fifth house. See where it's at in your chart. And for those who want a super easy way, you can click the link in the description, look for a full moon house finder, put in your rising sign, put in a full moon date, and it's going to let you know, right? So says fourth house in my chart, which is accurate. And this full moon is about my home, roots, family, domestic matters, reorganizing the base and restoring my emotional safety. That's pretty accurate for me, but click the link in the description. Utilize this web app. Let me know if you utilized it, if you worked on it. I'm about to put a comment section on this app so people who do use it, we can see what's good, right? But yeah, man, for those who enjoyed this video, be sure to like the video, man. If you want to get more out of this particular article, I did go into all of the major aspects, what they can mean during this full moon, looking forward, some journaling prompts. The real interesting journaling prompt that I'll hope I'm gonna do this with my wife later. Seek, because this isn't related to Chiron and Aries. What are your blind spots? So one would say, how do I find out my blind spots? And the practice is to seek honest feedback from someone you trust, even if it challenges your self image. So you can ask them a question such as, how can I be better from your perspective? And just listen to what they have to say. All right. With all that being said, I hope y'all enjoyed this video. I'm going to leave y'all with a little bit of my Jupiter Booty remix by my dude Black Main over on Instagram. Put a little beat behind his Jupiter Booty song, and feel like it's a nice little vibe. Let me know what y'all think.
Make a nigga fall in love like dominoes. Jupiter the booty, can you twerk some? Jupiter the booty, can you twerk some? Shorty got that hair like Rapunzel. Make a nigga fall in love like dominoes. Jupiter the booty, can you twerk some? Jupiter the booty, can you twerk some? Goddamn, shorty so fine, like a treadmill. that booty. She got a nigga geeking. Having fantasies of me and her, cause that bass squeaking. Shorty got that hair like Rapunzel. Make a nigga fall in love like dominoes. You were the booty, can you twerk some? You were the booty, can you twerk some? Shorty got that hair like Rapunzel. Make a nigga fall in love like dominoes. You were the booty, can you twerk some? Hey, you were the booty, can you